Thank you for joining Pioneer. I'm Chris with Norman Public Library Central, where I'm the STEAM specialist, that is, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Today, we are covering all of those things. We're making sticky buns. We're going to use the recipe from one of my favorite cookbooks, Peter Reinhardt's The Bread Baker's Apprentice. This is available in Overdrive. Check it out. For this recipe, you'll need 6½ tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 5½ tablespoons of butter, 3½ cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, 1 large egg, and 1 1/8 cup of either whole milk or buttermilk. We need to combine all of these into a dough. We're going to do it in 3 stages. We'll first combine the butter, sugar, and salt. Once it's well mixed, we'll add the egg. Finally, we'll add the remaining ingredients. To knead the dough, I'm going to use a stand mixer, like this one. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can knead it by hand. It will take about 15 minutes, or better yet, find someone to knead it for you.
You want me to do what?
To perform the window pane test, gently stretch a bit of your dough out. If you can stretch it so thin that it's translucent, like a frosted window pane, your gluten is ready. If not, and it tears instead, knead it for a few more minutes and then check again. Put your dough in a container that's deep enough to hold your dough and twice its normal volume. Cover it. Now let's go watch a movie. If you haven't already tried it, go to pioneer.canopy.com or download the Canopy app on your device to watch free movies and videos with your Pioneer library card. Well, how's your movie? Mine's excellent. Let's go check on our dough. So it's been about an hour and a half, and our dough is almost doubled in size, but not quite. We'll need another 15 or 20 minutes, but in that time, we can prepare our sticky glaze. To make Reinhardt's recipe for the caramel glaze, combine a ½ pound of unsalted butter, a ½ cup of granulated sugar, a ½ cup of firmly packed brown sugar, a ½ teaspoon of salt. Take those, combine them in a bowl, and mix them together well. Then add a ½ cup of corn syrup and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and beat it until it's light and fluffy. That'll take about 5 minutes. Now we need to stretch or roll our dough out into a 12 by 14 inch rectangle. You don't have to measure it, just get close. I prefer to just stretch it with my hands, but you can roll it if you want. Remember, the dough is stretchy, so it's going to spring back a little. Aim larger than you need it. The cinnamon sugar filling is made by combining 6½ tablespoons of sugar with 1½ tablespoon of cinnamon. Roll the dough into a tube. Then get a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. I like clear so I can see the caramel as it bakes. And spread your butter-sugar mixture in the bottom. You only need half of the mixture, but it's hard to prepare any less, so just save the rest for your next batch of rolls. Use a serrated knife to cut your cylinder into 8 equal pieces. Place those pieces on the butter mixture. If you want to add nuts to the top of the rolls, place them in before placing the rolls, or if you forget, like I just did, tuck them under the rolls now. Let your dough rise, or proof as bakers call it, at room temperature for another hour and a half. Time for another show on Canopy. After your dough's been rising for about an hour, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Excellent. Our rolls are done rising. Let's put them in the oven. Pro tip, this is probably going to overflow, so let's put something under it to catch that. Bake for 30 to 40 minutes. Remove the rolls when the caramel is a deep golden brown. Okay, so we just took our sticky buns out of the oven. But wait, you can't eat them yet. First, they're still very hot. In fact, they're still technically baking. It's called carryover cooking. So we have to let them rest for a little while longer before we can eat them. Secondly, remember, they're upside down. We can't flip them out of the pan until they've cooled a little bit. So I'll come back in 10 minutes and we'll get them out. Okay, It's been 10 minutes. I think they're cool enough to flip out, but they're still pretty hot, so don't forget your mitts. Here goes. Thank you for joining Pioneer Library System. If you enjoyed this video and want more, like and subscribe below.